afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief. I'm your host, Rolene Marks, and just a reminder that the Israel Brief is proudly brought to you by Lay of the Land. And don't forget to check us out online at www.layoftheland.online. That's www.layoftheland.online. You can subscribe to receive your daily edition of the Israel Brief by clicking on the subscribe button below or on the little bell icon. And if social media is more your game, check us out at Facebook at LOTL site. Like us, follow us, and don't forget to invite your friends as well. But without further ado, let's have a look at the big stories making headlines in Israel today. And top story is the United Nations Human Rights Commission aim to take or pass an unprecedented 7 resolutions against the state of Israel on March the 18th. Now, I know we're a little bit early with this headline, but why it's important is that while Israel doesn't say, we are perfect and above criticism, what we do say is that enough is enough. This disproportionate focus on the Jewish state or the singling out Israel for opprobrium at the expense of other human rights transgressions around the world, like in Zimbabwe or China or just on our border in Syria, deserves more of the UNHRC's focus than the state of Israel, who they single out time and time again. So we're there to say enough is enough, and on March the 18th, UN Watch will be leading a protest outside UNHRC headquarters in Geneva, and they're appealing to anybody who's in the Geneva area or around who can join them, as well as politicians, human rights activists, military personnel from around the world who will be there protesting yet again the singling out of Israel at the expense of other human rights transgressions. This is wholly anti-Semitic, and we add our voices in saying enough is enough. On to our next story, and yesterday we discussed or rather try to predict what President Donald Trump would be saying in his State of the Union speech. Now, while he focused rightly so on domestic issues, we of course in Israel were curious about, would he say anything about Iran? Would he maybe drop us a little tidbit about his proposed Middle East plan? What he did do is that he, first of all, paid tribute to Judah Sameh, the 81-year-old Holocaust survivor who survived not only Bergen-Belsen but also the Pittsburgh shooting. It was his 81st birthday yesterday, so it was lovely to see the US Congress singing happy birthday to him. But on a more serious note, Trump did speak about Iran. He said that the regime, with its chanting of death to America and also calling for genocide against the state of Israel, cannot be tolerated anymore. And he actually drew almost a direct correlation between these anti-Semitic chants and Holocaust denial to the events that took place in Pittsburgh, which saw 11 people brutally murdered. Now, we were expecting maybe he would talk a little bit more about Israel. However, he didn't. What he did say is that he touched on the embassy move, saying that it was, a primarily a reasonable or rational move, and that the Middle East peace plan will not be based on some of the issues that were discussed before, but will be new, and that is why he also moved the embassy, so that it takes the issue of Jerusalem as the capital off the table. So we're still waiting to hear with bated breath, but we do know that Jared Kushner is in Warsaw at the moment talking possible peace plans. And our final story for the day is the results that everybody's been waiting for as we embark on election watch. We're racing off to that 9th of April deadline. And yesterday, the Likud party held their primaries. And while we're still waiting for the final votes to be tallied, the results we do have is that, apart from Netanyahu, the leader of the party, being in the lead, we do know that other ministers, Israel Katz, the transport minister, Gideon Sa'ar, the former interior minister, Yuli Edelstein, the speaker of the Knesset, and Gilad Erdan, our public affairs minister, all have featured prominently at the top of the list. So very, very interesting to see how Likud, how their list is panning out. But on a more serious note, we at Lay of the Land in the Israel Brief would like to send a message of condolence to Kulanu Chair Moshe Kachlon on the tragic passing of his mother, and we send our condolences and say may her memory be blessed. So those are the top stories. This is the Israel Brief. I'm Rolene Marks, and we'll chat again tomorrow.